happy to see. I'm sure a few more will be joining, but at least we could reach on time. So I always feel there are few new parents, rather they are the oldest. What I can see amongst our group is current scenario we have almost 60 kids with us, and what we can see is how many parents with us. Okay, so when I talk about this, I always feel the parent who has come, it's no need to tell them that why are you all cannot be that much responsible to take out 1 hour for what you are sending your child, spending X amount. It matters a lot. Then it's always important for all of you. And when as a team, we take so much effort to make you explain, then why all of you don't take that advantage? Yeah, anyway, but whoever can could make it, it's wonderful. We welcome you all. Today what we have done is trying to explain you what is sensory integration. It might be a repetition some, so give others to chance to think before you speak, because actually my this attempt is all of you as a parents understand what your child is feeling. Unless and until we don't understand, we'll not be able to help our children. So our whole point is make parents understand, and then you can help your child, and then here we are to solve any of your queries. Now when we said this time, this is every time we do sensory integration and all, this time we have actually as an internal team, we you all know you all are going to get a follow-up reports, but we have worked throughout, ask parents to come forward, whoever can make it. So we have done the whole 1 month of exercise, all full Anshu team. For each and every child, we have a pre and post video taken. This is what is we have done, and in our PowerPoint presentation. So we all already has seen, and it was internally for us to understand. Because when we ourselves was so motivated and happy when we saw some child and what difference we could make it. So this was, we obviously we are not going to showcase everything. What we are going to showcase a very few children, and that is also our purpose is to showcase that is not like this child is not doing this or this is not what is the problem. It is only what treatment we give. So for you all to understand, because half of you don't know what happens once the door is closed, right? So this was our attempt. Though few children, few parents said we don't want, we respect their decision, but then also any of you, we are going to really show few. Any one of you think you want to see your child's video, everything is there with us. They'll be able to show, or then individually also. It's fun. It was a great reward, believe me, when we all were watching, and at the end of the month we were so happy. We could present this a bit because we all have worked for a whole month for taking videos, understanding everything, what is pre, post and everything. So that was our attempt. So you all know our team. We have a team of occupational therapists, physiotherapists, speech therapist, and psychologists. We as a behavior therapist with us. We'll start with Ria. She, Julie is an occupational therapist. Ria is a physiotherapist, master in pediatrics. We have Vinny with us, physiotherapist. We have Ria with us. She is a behavior therapist, and we have a Sanjana with us. She is a speech therapist. Radhika you all know, but for her family commitment, she stopped coming on Saturday. She is the senior most therapist with us. So I'm so happy and thankful to all my team for putting in such a humongous effort to present it and give you some insight about sensory integration and what we give. Obviously, we are going to show you very few cases, and whenever you are going to see any case, see, apart from yourself, nobody is going to realize whose child is this, because none of them has been given name. So, and don't worry. First of all, acceptance for our child is the key point for any one of us. It may be your child or my child or anyone. So, and we all are as a family. So come over it and make it a wonderful experience. We'll start with first lights off करने sensory integration, and Dr. Riya Shah, she will be starting. So first listen to her in between when she says, I will edit up if I think there is something which I need to add on, and if anybody wants to ask, please raise your hand and we'll be it can be a purely interactive session. It's just for you all to understand. Please feel free. Okay? Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, good morning.
Good morning.
So today first, before starting the session, I want to ask all of you, like what do you know about our sensory system? Like what all senses do we have? So anyone can help me out? Like we all know there are basic 5 sensory senses, right? So will you name all of them with me?
Touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing.
And anything else? Very good. So see, some of you know, some of you don't. So it will work. So one is vestibular and one is proprioceptive. So we will do a little activity. You all have to stand up. Slowly. So all of you join your legs together. And then close your eyes. So do all of you feel that you are swaying in front or you're trying to go back? Are you feeling that? Yeah, so that is how what is the like vestibular system. This is what I was talking about, which is generated by your inner ear, and this is how the balance works. Next, I will ask you, does anyone do yoga over here? Okay, so we will do one simple yoga pose where all of you, we are going to do a tree pose. Okay, where you have to take your legs up and then try doing this. Yeah, this one, very good. So this is your proprioceptive system where you are aware about the body and you are trying to balance. So this is the proprioceptive system. Okay, you can sit now. So these are the 2 main senses. We all know that there are 5, but these are the 2 main, that is vestibular and proprioceptive system, which play a very important role in the therapy and as well as in the normal this. So next.
Do you want to sit for some time? Okay?
Yeah. So you can see over here, there is olfactory, that is the smell. This is tactile, that is the touch. Vestibular, we saw, that's balance. Visual is sight. Proprioception is about the body awareness. Gustatory is taste. And auditory is about listening. Okay? Next. So here, how does the sensory system work? Okay? So there is a processing. The way when I ask you that you have to pick up a glass of water. So what? Then we'll fill the water in the glass and we'll pick up the water. Same way in sensory system, there's a sensory input. That are these senses. There's an input from outside where the brain will be processing that, and then there will be a response to it. This is how the sensory system also works. The way the motor, the same way the sensory. So in this part, whenever there is tactile, vestibular, proprioceptive, in that there is a sensory input which is given. Right now also when I asked that you have to stand and close your eyes, at that time you could feel. So that was an input, and then we could see that was the vestibular, that was the response which was given. So this is how the sensory processing works. So now,
Okay?
yeah.
Catch. You can throw anywhere. Everybody has to be alert. Turn around. Just make sure don't hit. Don't hit. Make sure.
Anyway.
Okay. Can you stand up? what happens? Like how you can catch, and when you will not be able to catch, what is the reason? Think over. What happens when you see ball somebody is throwing?
You suddenly get alert and you kind of work towards looking
Coordination
for that
between
coordination
hand
with the
and
eye. Eye and trying to coordinate your hand movement along with your eye movement.
But why everybody can't pick up? We all have six senses. We all have senses.
Alertness to
No. I can aim it to anybody, and then also everybody. This is a big ball. It's easier. Everybody will not be able to do. Why everybody cannot have the same kind of balance?
The response to the sensory input is not the same for everybody.
Perfect. The response to the sensory system is not same for everyone. Sensory integration doesn't happen same way with me, you, she and she. Okay? And what we see is why. And why sensory integration is not happening that smoothly. Everyone is different. Everyone interprets the senses differently. But when it is not working for the well-being, it's disturbing, it's not getting integrated in that way that you cannot accommodate. See, with practice you will be able to do. You know when someone is throwing, when suppose I have started, I am throwing, first I have to realize what I want to do. I lift my hand, I will try, and I have to lift. I should have that much range, I should have that much strength, I should have that much imagination, I should know where I want to throw. First my eye should reach over there, then I extend my hand, then I try and give that throw. And that is also if I am aiming. Here now I have given it to, but I know that I want to give it to Sarthak's father. So then I have to look at him, I have to focus, I have to throw him. At the same time, he has to realize this much speed the ball will take to reach, and he has to integrate whatever information I am throwing it to him to catch hold of the ball. Okay, though we do lots of activities during our day, but we don't realize how much integration is required for very small things. Okay.
So now that we have understood the normal, how normally our senses work. So this is the normal range, okay? And either a child can be hypersensitive or hyposensitive. So here what I would like to explain with an example is, so like how for us a stimulus, when a stimulus is coming, okay, the processing that is happening in an order which goes about. So here if there is a traffic jam, okay, or from all the four sides, okay, there are cars coming and there's like, we are just stuck in the middle. There's no way out of us for us to go. So it's the same way a child's senses are working. Like they are working in either in overdrive or they are not working. Like the processing is not happening as it should happen. So basically there's a lot of firing of the processing which can make them hypersensitive, or there's under processing which can make it hyposensitive. Okay. So we'll go to the next slide. Yeah. So here,
Previous slide, the learning happens only when we are here. It doesn't happen when anybody is here, or it doesn't even happen when anybody is here. So we stand here, we get our child from here to here, we get our child from here to here, and then we try to teach them. That is what is very simple to explain here.
okay. So here it's sensitive. So there are two types. Okay. One is a seeker and one is sensitive to it. So a seeker will always want more. So whatever inputs that they are getting, it's not enough for them. Okay. So the noise. Okay. So what daily noises that are there for us, we are okay with that. But some they do need more of the noises, they like noises, they enjoy loud music and everything, and their voice also will be louder. Others will be, I think everybody can relate to
But
this.
can it be a mix of both and some teachers are this?
Yes,
some-
yes, yes.
Yeah, it's a good question. So somebody can be a somebody will like if you touch this, you will like this. Somebody will not just you not like to touch or not like to stand. Somebody is okay. There are different things you can yourself you feel that you are not comfortable with. So all these questions we must have asked you so many times during our evaluation. How comfortable your child is, how this is, and sensory system. It's a mixed system. It's not like all the systems works in seeker or all the systems they are sensitive. So we evaluate them for individual system and we work with individual up and down and then we try and neutralize.
Yes. So you can have a look at this. So this is a very basic of it. So this is like your auditory system, which is like can be loud and enjoys very loud noises. Loves to jump, climb, crash. This is your vestibular system. High tolerance for pain. This is your touch, which is there. Okay. Then and loves to be touched and needs to be touched. Both of them. And can be a chewer. So continuous anything, everything, whatever they can find goes into the mouth. That is their way of exploring the environment. Okay, they are curious to know. So that is how they explore their new environment, whatever is there. And then we have the opposite side, which is the sensitive. Okay, so here it's basically the opposite. There they love to jump, climb, crash, everything. Here they will have a fear of climbing, jumping, unstable surfaces. Then they might be sensitive to touch, prefers alone, they might not like loud noises, afraid of them, picky with food, textures of food and clothes also. Yes, and the next slide. Okay, so all of that then manifests into this. Like this is daily what are the problems that they might have. Okay, so here also
We can wait over here. Okay. You all can read, you can think, you can relate, and anybody till now wants to answer. No need to narrate this because every child will have a different kind of interpretation of this. Anyone wants to speak about it right now or want to have any query? We are done with sensory integration like this over there about sensory system. Any particular system, or if you want to discuss any of the problem and then want us to make you understand why that behavior is, we are here to open. Anyone, you can choose from this also, or you can think of your own. Sometimes talking now.
No, one question is that whatever the features you have mentioned, no, it is not that it's permanent. It also fluctuates. I have seen that. And for example, touch. Sometimes you like to be touched, on other, depending on the moods, no, that also fluctuates.
So yeah, here I want to correct. Most of the parents think depending on the mood, but believe me, there is nothing like mood when kid is a very young kid. The mood is our mood and then we add to their mood that mood nahi hai, lazy hai. These are the terms I have been always saying. There are parents who comes and then my child gets bored after some time. They don't know. Do you think when child is born they know term bored? No, but the parents think, right? We have parents or anybody like they say after few days no anywhere we go no after that park also no she don't want to go to that park. We have to choose another park. Is it possible? No. So why it is changing? There could be other things, there could be other circumstances, and as we said, none of the sensory system works independently, only single. So if some only when you are thinking of a touch, but there might be other sensory system which is not in sync with that. On that particular day or that particular thing, they might be fine. So as we said, there are so many sensory systems, so that is why it is working. Yes, mood and all. You don't have a chair to sit. It's okay. You can ask. You can pick up anything and take a chair from outside.
You can sit and have a-
So what happens? Anybody can jump on the bed also, no problem. And sit. So others can sit. I'm happy. The hall is full. So basically, so there are a lot of things which works. We need to think what you are talking about mood and all behavior symptoms comes later on when we don't address sensory problem at the right time. And that is what we see, that mood and then aggressiveness and hitting and all other things that starts later on. So when sensory system or sensory processing is not happening properly, the child starts developing other behavior problems. So why everybody and all the experts started talking about the early intervention? You all must have heard how early we interpret and how early we try to address it. We are avoiding or we are taking care of that there will not be a major behavior concern in later part. So all that thing is behavior that comes over here. Child is not feeling comfortable, yes, and whatever, as a human being we all have a nature, right? Something which is not comfortable we are going to avoid, and that avoidance comes in our memory, that we will not do only that things, and we have been used to doing that thing. So that's how our nature develops. Nobody is born with a nature that kind of. Whatever suits, whatever is comfortable, we try to adapt, and whatever is not comfortable, we try to avoid. That's very simple. Obviously, the nurturing parents, how they interpret, how they expose that particular child, and how you try and understand their feeling, everything matters. If we even see twins are not the same, right? So it is like that matters. Nurturing and all, everything eventually helps your child, but that is what is the thing. Anyone else?
Is it that the number of inputs and the degree of inputs, simultaneous inputs, and that is where the brain gets freezed or stuck because of so many inputs and with varied degrees, etc.?
Yeah, so definitely. So number of inputs and what, so that's what this scenario or why we have seen post COVID. So the scenario is changed. The number of inputs. So basically, what we have seen, like in fact, since 33, more than 33 years, I have been in this field. But the scenario and the kids, what I have seen in last 6 months, I literally feel what happened to this generation because of this no social interaction, fear of COVID amongst pressure, parents, in relatives, the talk going around, and the screen time. It has impacted so much with the kids, and by the time parents realize the damage is already done. And then, and especially it's in the formative years, I've been keep telling this kid, like in our clinic, we used to have children, average about 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5 to 6. Senior KG to first standard when they used to go, there's a transition, and that time they couldn't cope up. And the teachers used to send us, and the parents used to feel writing and reading from the board, following instruction, everything was not happening. The whole scenario, if you see today in my clinics, it's everybody between 2.5, 3.5 to 4. So it's like almost like where we have reached, and the integration, what should have happened at that formating year, that has not happened. We all are going to bear that fruits much longer time for the COVID. But yes, what is gone is gone. We now all have to be mindful and work towards that.
When you say, the memory impacts of a particular, so suppose you're telling, the particular day he must have felt something, that is why. So how do we,
So
sort of
we
change the memory?
we have to think what made him do this. Mindful. What has happened? Food, environment, sleep, any other exposure. Food again, because you said the food is a major part. when we see all of our kids is hyperactive, we must have said so many times, stop sugar, stop chocolates, stop soft drinks, high sugar intake, everything. You immediately see your child becomes hyperactive. You get high, right, with certain things. It's like that. They are comfortable, they are uncomfortable, clothes, environment, smell of people around. It's a major concern. So we feel very comfortable sometimes in the presence of some people, right? The presence itself is calming. Voice, tone of voice. So many times that students are children are not comfortable with some particular teacher, and they are fine with some particular teacher. Why? So I'm sure teachers want to give their best, right? Anybody who is doing that's the excuse that some teacher don't give in this. But everybody has a different way of working. Everyone has a different touch. Everyone throws different aura. Everyone throws different smell, tone of voice. Everything is different, and then interpretation is different. So it majorly affects. It majorly affects. Somebody can really concentrate and somebody will not be able to focus. That happens with us also. Somebody who needs absolute silence environment while studying, and others with a loud music also, they are absolutely fine. They will study and they are concentrate. Everybody must have felt during their college year.
Yep.
Yes? Okay?
Okay, one thing, is it related to any hormone release? Like I heard about dopamine.
Dopamine and all, yeah, that releases, but that is with the input. We are not much of this thing because we are talking about very young kids. Hormones and all, when they will start at like after 8, 9, puberty period and all that will be, yes, but vitamin deficiency, vitamin D, low tone, that really affects. And lately, before we have not seen so many kids having vitamin D deficiency, but again they have not been exposed to sun, they are not moving out of the house. There are kids who has not stepped out of the house for 6 months during COVID, they have not gone, and obviously vitamin D deficiency. So when there is a vitamin D deficiency, everything else, their concentration, attention, everything gets affected.
So should we test for it and
If needed. If needed. So most of us are with a pediatrician, and if we really think in our with a physical disability or some few kids, I have mentioned when I think that we need to check. So then we tell them, but otherwise we don't insist much.
Ma'am, do brain tonics help? Like, before the first port of call is, as you said, pediatrician, right? When the development is not as expected, they first start with brain tonics, and then if it's not helping, then you take, this help.
So pharma part, actually we are not that much capable of comment, but yes, if pediatrician is giving, that will help, but that's not the alternative of therapy.
Correct. It will complement is what my question was.
Could be. It differs from individual to individual because, but it is nothing is this thing. Are we talking about home program or periodic diet? इसके बाद केस स्टडी हाँ ना that I know that we are talking about parenting. Okay, so when we spoke, sometimes she wants to speak, she has to come, huh? One thing, now basically everyone understood sensory integration, how it happens, as you spoke about this, I think. And you know we have been insisting on home program because again what we tell you, when you spoke about medicine, I could remember none of this is a medicine and none of the problem of a sensory integration is a disease. So whenever the parents ask me how long we have to do it, then I always in answer to their question I ask, do you ever think how long do you have to feed your child? Do you ever forget to give your child breakfast, lunch and dinner? Have you ever slept without giving them? No. So this is their need. Whatever we are exclusively individual to individual, when we are telling you to do it, it is their food. I request all parents to do it before giving them food, so that's a priority. It takes just 5 to 7 minutes. We have done in past lot of parents program where we have given them presentations of giving home program in very interesting way. Here I want to say, when kids are very young, obviously they'll get bored if you will ask them to and hold their hand and say chalo chalo home program karna hai. See, you have to be mindful, it has to be interesting, and it's nothing like if today I will ask them you have to do it, then it becomes a punishment. But let's all of us do it together, then it's a wholesome and enjoyable experience. So always parents has to make it like it's a thing which we all want to try, and everything is fun, right? It's nothing which is uncomfortable. Only thing is the little kind of effort. We know somebody like your child has a difficulty in reading and writing, and early morning as soon as the child gets up, first finish reading and writing. Why? Do you like something which you don't enjoy? सुबह में उठ के मैं आपको बोलूँ चलो पहले सबसे ये करो, because child is, they cannot speak, and what you expect this child when they grow up, they are going to be rebellious. Spring जितना दबाओ वो उछलने वाला है. Give them something. I keep telling them, do instead 5 minutes home program, take them down, and there are a lot of different ways. See, there are multiple ways. That is why we want all of you to understand the crust behind what we give. अभी थेरापेंट है तो आप पुशअप्स करो. What we want you all to work on the proprioception. और father has to take a responsibility. We had some parents and all, morning I'm so busy I can't do it, I have to prepare tiffin. I said forget it. Your child is growing. टिफिन नहीं बना उसको बाहर खाने को बोलो, नहीं तो खुद का बनाने को बोलो. See, it's your child. Both of you has the same equal responsibility. You cannot think that only mother will do and father will not do. Unless and until family don't work in sync, it will not give you result. And believe me, if you all will do it, you will get such wonderful result. And again I am telling you, as a team of Anshu Center, how much we are insisting and giving you opportunity to home program. You believe me, and you can go and search any centers. Nobody will give you this much opportunity. They'll tell you to come 5 days in a week, 6 days in a week. We are of the opinion, minimize their intake coming over here. You all are parents, take a responsibility. Your touch and our touch is going to be different. Finally, the child has to stay in a family. You all have to, how long you all are going to come for a therapy? And we always insist for that as a family, do your home program. That will really help you all. Okay? Sure. Okay. Right. Nice.
Case study.
Let's go for case study.
And now just let me then shift the chairs a little forward.
Everybody can just move the
Today now we will do the case study. So this is one child, 1 year 8 months, with difficulties in motor milestones majorly. So her parents' major concerns were that child is not able to transition to standing, child is not able to walk independently, and has feeding and speech difficulties. So child is 1 year 8 months. Yeah. Next slide. So the improvement we have seen in the last 6 months is improvement in her standing postural control, which is better standing and standing posture and control of that. Able to do fall prevention in sitting and standing. Child is now able to do following milestones, which is pulling self into standing position with and without support, stands momentarily without support, walking while holding on to furniture, and taking 2 to 3 steps without support, now actually taking more steps after that now, and started bisyllables and animal sounds. So her next 3 months goal setting is her activities to improve her muscle tone and proprioception, strengthening of her core, upper and lower limb muscles, sensory integration techniques to improve her sensitivities because she has tactile proprioception sensitivities as well, improving on catching up with her further milestones, and balance training in standing and walking, and behavior management to manage her tantrums.
So, this is what we wanted to explain you for each and every child. Coming to Anshu, we have done this. We have made this program. This is what we work with, and this is how we make a program. And there are a lot of things goes behind it when we make our goals and when we think of this. Now, when because you said, like, see, you can see this behavior modification. Even this, what is the age of a child is just 1.8. But already that child has started behavior tantrums because something which is not comfortable started avoiding. So that is what we need. We have to start working. This is what is we call early intervention when it starts with.
So this video in the first, that is of December, no sorry, that is the video of October, where she is trying to get up and sit. So you can see that how much she's struggling to push her body up and sit up. But this is what she had learned in 1 month, but she was not doing this previously. So she's very good. The next one. This is in January. She started crawling.
She's a normal child. No major medical problem. Okay? We have taken that cases. If some physical disability is there, then that's a total different scenario with us. Only sensory and low tone, what we keep calling you all, is majorly disturbing her to achieve her age appropriate milestones.
And then here she's learning how to stand independent and then prevent fall also. Like if she falls forward, she has to keep her hand forward. So that is what the video was. This was her first time when she stood independent. This is recent now in June. She's walking. Always not there, but then she starts saying banana. That's the words she starts saying. And if you notice that walking is still like first thing they'll achieve walking, they might achieve, but then achieving independent sit to stand from floor is the most difficult thing. That is the biggest transition they achieve, and then with that transition they take and they learn stair climbing and all those other next milestones. So this she achieved like 1 week ago. So even when she had started walking, she had not achieved this. And she achieved this.
Great. Isn't it? Yeah, I want also to do a big round of applause to her. Superb work done. And it believe me, I am here just to plan out a treatment. They are the one who is doing it. So it requires lot of dedication and with that love and tender care, because it's not easy to treat such young babies.
Then this is another child, 4 years, 3 months. And the child has major concerns of difficulty in doing age-appropriate gross motor skills, has poor balance and increased number of falls, and has poor social interaction. So the improvement we have seen is in her postural control and muscle strength, reduction in tightness of muscles, improvement in balance and in standing, and reduced falls. So she had even frequent falls earlier, and attempting to do activities such as jumping, climbing in controlled manner. The child is now participating in group activity. For the further 3 months goal, to improve gross motor activities and strength, to improve motor planning for new tasks, and to regulate all sensory systems, rotation and balance training, to improve bimanual activities and coordination of left and right side, and to improve our attention and concentration. So this is she's standing on the swing, and she's able to balance. You can move it.
This is after therapy.
Yes, yes.
We are
So,
we don't have a treatment.
so here she's trying, she's standing on the swing and balancing, and she also has a little bit confidence difficulties. So she was able to do it, but she was scared. I'm not able to do. You hold me, please. So then she was able to do it, even without. And then when I told her, "This, see, you are doing it alone," she was like really happy. So she's swinging alone and standing. And this is one more. So on the balance board, she's standing, bending down and putting the shapes with the rotations. She has to coordinate the whole movement and put it. Usually pay attention where the shape has to go, so it will like many things get targeted in this single exercise.
Most of our activity when they work on, it works simultaneously to minimum 3 to 4 sensory systems together. We try to think and that way we give them activity and then we achieve that.
Thank you.
So next I'll be presenting on a girl child. She is 11 years and her major concerns were to reduce anger and neglect towards family members, manage emotions, and she was also dealing with anxiety, learn to live independently, thumb sucking, and increase physical activities. So now a little background about the child. She lives in a family, in a joint family where her great grandparents, grandparents, parents, and herself. That's like 4 generations living in one house. And she has seen a lot in the family, and which has also led to her anxiety. Next.
So at this point, sometimes what has happened, when atmosphere at home is also sometimes affecting, even argument between parents, it will get, the child will be literally go haywire. So you don't know. You sometimes think how it matters. You speak to, you have some argument with your mother-in-law, but the child is what he is going to behave differently.
Yeah, so the changes that we saw in her are, now she is able to introspect critical family situations and manage her own emotions. She is able to manage her anxiety by using coping mechanisms. I'll just come to that. She has become independent, and that is she has stayed without her mother for 10 days. So she is a child who will not leave her mother.
Even for a dinner.
Yeah.
Even in spite of staying with everyone in the house, she'll absolutely not allow her mom to move out of the house.
And last month her mother had to travel to Bahrain for work, and it was a period of 1 week, which was a task. So she had come in and we had devised plans of how she's going to, stay without her mother, what can she do. And she did fairly well, in the absence of her mother. And thumb sucking. So she is 11 years and she still has, problems with thumb sucking. So we had done systematic desensitization where, we worked on her behavior part of it and she was able to overcome thumb sucking at this age now. Also she has enrolled in sports activities for maintaining her physical health. Now her further goal setting for the next 3 months would be to manage her emotions in family situations, do activities of daily living independently, and social communication and interaction. So I was talking about coping mechanisms. So here we use coping cards for children with psychological issues. So what they do is we write an issue on a card. Suppose here she has written, I am anxious around a lot of people, and below that this is her response. This is a response which is adaptive response, where she affirms herself what she would do in such situation. And whenever she is faced with this situation, she would have a look at her coping cards, and this has helped her. And this is for her thumb sucking. So this is like a systematic desensitization technique where we negotiate with the child, like how many times do you want to apply medication on your thumb. So the child will not agree for it for the whole week. So I told her, okay, we can start from 3 days. So do it 3 days a week, and she agreed. And that's how even she was able to work on overcoming her thumb sucking behavior. So that is her. And next. So this is a male child. He's 7 years old. His major concerns were hyperactivity, stubbornness, poor concentration, attention and visual perception, memory and anger issues. So the improvements that we've seen in him is his hyperactivity has reduced, concentration, attention and visual perception has improved, his stubbornness has reduced and he's able to control his anger. And the goal settings for him for the next 3 months would be exercises, that is brain gym, for sustained attention and memory, as well as for his concentration, behavior modification for anger management, and social communication and interaction. Next. So before playing the video, so we were working on his memory, his visual memory, attention and concentration. So he was, so all these cards were flipped upside down. He had to first remember where the cards were placed, and then when I asked him to pick up a card, he has to remember where that card was and get the correct card. So this is for visual memory. So he has to pick up that card.